So first thing I'm going to do is shampoo the seats. Now I'm going to do that out of the vehicle. It's not necessary to do them out of the vehicle normally. However, since I'm also going to be cleaning the floor up there and seeing what sort of goodies they left under the seat, I'm going to go ahead and take the seats out to do it. So there's 3 1/2-inch. There's a bolt on the outer side rear, and then there's 2 nuts in the front. And then for some reason, just to mix things up, they put a 3/4 inch bolt in the rear on the inner side. There's a nut in the rear positions and a bolt in the front positions. I recommend that you remove the nuts first, because you're going to have posts that line up the seat, and so when you slide it back, it'll hold against those, and then you can remove the bolts in the front and take the seat out, and then the installation is the reverse, and it's much easier to do it in that order instead of doing the front first. So I'm not going to waste your time unbolting, on camera, but basically, like I said, 3/4 there, 1/2-inch in the other 3 positions, starting the rear, and then once you've unbolted, you can lift it up, and there's almost always at least 1 electrical connector underneath. So with the 2 in the rear removed, slide the seat back and remove those 2 bolts. Now I've never had a problem removing the nuts or bolts on these, but you see even this one has got a little bit of rust on it, and I've heard horror stories from y'all on the internet trying to remove these, and then they're rusted so bad you end up cutting them or whatever. So don't break them. If you have trouble, spray a little penetrating oil on them, and that should free them up. You may even be able to spray it from underneath the car, and you'll see the bolts sticking through. Passenger has the 1 electrical connector there. Disconnect that, and then you can remove the seat from the car. Remember, the seat is fairly heavy, and also these little metal edges are very sharp and can scratch up your car, so you want to pre-plan your route before you start removing it, so that you have a safe area to take it to that's not going to scratch up your paint. So you see this one comes off as a large connector just by pressing the release there, and it slides off pretty effortless when you know which thing to push. And you see why, at a minimum, you want to remove the seats just to vacuum, if nothing else. This is all the debris that was under there. Interestingly enough, they left something called the perfect scale. I'm gonna have to assume that was used for weighing drugs, but I do not know that for sure. One tip I will give you: when you take your seat out, go ahead and hand thread in the bolts and nuts so you don't lose them, particularly if you're vacuuming. You don't want to suck them up with the vacuum. So the driver's side is just a mirror of the passenger side as far as bolts and nuts go, and then the electrical has got a second connector, and it's not really one hand operation here, so basically you have to, I used one of these and just slid in between there and then pulled this out. So anyway, and anyone's guess what that probably is, all spewed all over there. Least favorite thing to clean up. So there's lots of ways to clean the seat. I typically just shampoo them with this. If you're feeling overly motivated, you can actually remove these covers and put them in your washing machine. Like I said, I'm just going to go ahead and shampoo the whole thing. I already hosed off the bottom rails where it was sitting in the goo and got all that cleaned off, so that'll make a huge difference just in the way the car smells. this is what came out of the driver's seat. It went in this clear water. It comes out looking like some sort of motor oil. Honestly, you could probably do your seats 2 or 3 times and still get that much dirt out. I'll typically redo them periodically, once every 6 months to a year. I don't think it does much good to clean it and not protect it. So I'm going to use some 303 Fabric Guard. It just says basically to spray it evenly on your clean surface. It takes several hours to cure, so obviously you're not going to want to do this if you're needing to drive. And you're going to need to reapply this every 6 to 12 months. So what I would suggest is shampoo the seats every 6 to 12 months and then reapply this. The nice thing is, other than this first time taking the seats out and cleaning everything, when you're owning the car every 6 months, you can just shampoo and spray in the car and it should be fine. Letting the seat bolts from the front position of both seats soak in the penetrating oil to get the rust off, and I may consider putting some anti-seize on them when I reinstall them. The passenger side ones are in a lot better shape than the driver side ones were. When you have the seats off the car, it's always a good chance to inspect the mechanisms underneath and oil up the tracks and stuff so that they'll be smooth sailing for you. Like I said, I typically don't remove the seats except for the first time getting the car, so basically look for the moving parts there on the track and just put some oil in them, white lithium grease or whatever. You can put heavy grease, put pretty much whatever you want, just something that will go in there and stay and keep all the moving parts lubricated. I'm going to spray some dry lube on mine. And that should be the least messy solution and still provide the necessary lubrication to keep the seat moving smoothly. And just like I've never seen a Charger seat that doesn't have broken plastic on the side, I never see the Crown Vic seats with this piece attached. And so basically what you do, there's a plastic edge at the end of this. You roll it around and then there's a metal lip in there and you roll it up and then it just kind of clicks into place. If it's not totally clicked into place, it just pops off, so it's real touchy, but when you get it on there, it'll stay. So it goes like this. See, this pushes up against there and then it rolls around. When you heard it click, then you know it's on. I don't know how long that'll stay. Like I said, I've never seen a Crown Vic seat come from the police auction where this was still connected. They're all hanging. Even my 2008, they're hanging.